Hi guys, my name's Connor. I'm a science fiction, political, and philosophy nerd, Marine Corps and law enforcement veteran, and a never-Trump Republican. And today I'm going to be breaking down some drama between Lonerbox, who is a liberal, lefty, progressive guy that I like, and Noah Samsen, a very large leftist video essayist, and Hasan, the largest left-wing live streamer on the internet. They're beefing, of course, about Israel-Palestine, but I think there's some personal drama mixed in there, and so I'm ecstatic to be breaking it down for you today. Let's go ahead and get our characters on screen and see what they have to say.
Some choice words I heard. He said something along the lines of like, if all Jews are pro-Israel, right, then you're and they're all if all Jews are pro-genocide of Palestinians, you're anti-Semitic for being against the genocide of Palestinians. And I was like,
what? Imagine, like, Lonerbox is a smart dude. Imagine thinking for 5 seconds that this sentence is true. This is either Hasan Piker is so dumb that he can't properly represent opposing arguments, or he's actually just lying. And I don't know which one is true.
How can every single thing they say about me be wrong? Makes sense. What
It's
do we
a little
have
low.
here? Is it actually time? Is it hog o'clock?
it's like, oh, you don't like
He's a little low, so for the sake of audio balance, this will be a Counterpoints ASMR segment.
Is it hog o'clock? These guys are hogs, by the way, just so you understand. Like, these guys glaze the shit out of authoritarian regimes and despotic leaders, and they have a very, like, strong...
The poster says, boo, why hate on flyover people? Because you have terrible taste in guns.
man perspective on how the world should go anyway. Like Hasan with his fucking perfect phone call that would supposedly stop the conflict in Israel and Gaza. Yeah, whatever. They are hogs, massive hogs.
All right, I know we're starting the segment, but you guys are still on the gun topic, and you're writing things just to make me angry. I'm a gun owner too, and don't want to ban guns, but Scrotus is corrupt. In no way is an AR-15 an effing hunting rifle. That's BS and bribery. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the Second Amendment, which is a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So I'm just going to bring this up for you real quick. Can you show me, LB? Where does it say anything about hunting? Okay. Contextually, historically, a well-regulated militia, a well-regulated doesn't mean regulated by the state. It means well-trained. You can look up contemporary historical sources for why this means well-trained. And the militia, defined by federal code, is all I think it's all men aged 18 to 45. This is like the unregulated militia or the unofficial militia or the something militia. I forget what it is. But the militia is defined as all men aged 18 to 45 and all women who are in the National Guard. So a well-trained militia, men 18 to 45 and women in the National Guard, being necessary to the security of a free state. That's the purpose of this clause. So it's not making anything prescriptive or descriptive. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So the people, not the militia, the people have a right to keep and bear arms. And they shall always have this right. It shall not be infringed. Now, I think there's a legalistic argument that it's not an unlimited right. And so as long as you can bear arms and as long as you can keep arms, you can technically regulate the style of weapons that people keep, even with the Second Amendment as read. However, where does the word hunting pop up anywhere? I don't see the word hunting anyways. Or sorry, I'm waking up and getting caffeinated, but where is the word hunting? Or where's the implication of hunting? I don't see it.
frat fuck hogs.
Saying that bar for bar, that I have told Ethan Klein 10 toes down within the framework of Israel doing a genocide and a regional actor trying to take action against Israel doing a genocide.
What actions are they doing? Missiling random commercial ships is what the Houthis are doing. So Hasan Piker, when they're like, Hasan doesn't support terrorism, this is just him openly saying that he supports terrorism. Got it. Okay, cool.
The Houthis are right. They are correct. They're correct to do a naval blockade.
They're the only ones following international law.
They're the only ones following international law has to be one of the dumbest sentences ever uttered in geopolitical analysis.
So good. What a fucking dunce. Mate. They're the only ones following international law, apart from being a non-state actor with arms in and of itself, going into international waters, attacking civilian vessels, the plurality of which do not come from Israel. They're Greek. Greek-owned. Plurality of the ships that the Houthis are attacking. Kidnapping, killing, fucking oil spills. They're the only ones following international law. God damn it, fuck me. Listen, if you're like a right-leaning Israeli, okay, you're like a Netanyahu fan in chat, you know, all two of you, these are your guys. These are your bros. You should be so fucking thankful that this is what's dominated Western left-wing alt media on Israel-Palestine. Like,
true.
Don't forget all the internal stuff that they do. Yeah, sex trafficking women who were jailed for very arbitrary, like modesty laws. Yeah, it's so fucking.
West Coast Girl says, at least Tim Waltz hunts for food. How many intruders have I killed so far with that AK? 0. But there's always tomorrow.
Bad, because these guys are like the big voices on this, like the big left tube, bread tube, tanky twat tube.
LB says, Connor, should citizens use 2A to defend against Gestapo ICE? No. Like, I mean, I think about that sometimes in reference to Alligator Alcatraz because they're glorifying the torture of non-immigrants. But truth be told, LB, you can find this morally repulsive if you want. You can enforce immigration law. Okay? If you are not supposed to be in this country and you've overstayed your visa or you've crossed the border illegally, then the United States government has the right to detain you, investigate your immigration status, and then deport you. They have the right to do so under currently established laws. Now, there's a Fourth Amendment clause to the... Well, let's go ahead and take a look real quick, just because this is important, even though it's not on topic. The Fourth Amendment is the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. So we have to fight over what's reasonable, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Well, we already have a bunch of laws about immigrants and whether or not they're allowed to stay. So no, ICE is enforcing the laws as written. So no, I'm not for shooting cops when they are enforcing existing laws. If you think that, you know, illegal immigrants have an indefinite right to stay in the United States, number one, you're wrong. But number two, you should probably change the law of the land before you start shooting cops. That would be my recommendation.
Whatever the fuck on this issue, and they're so fucking retarded. It's like Noah will sit there and read an entire human rights report from the UN on stream, and he doesn't understand anything. To think that what the Houthis do has anything to do with international law, that's fucking crazy. That's so crazy.
Timothy says, shoot, he passed on my unsolvable point, sad face. Type it in chat again. I'll get to it.
What is happening in this brain? You open this head up and it's just a big ball of dust.
I do care about anti-Semitism. He doesn't. He just wants to weaponize it against not even like critics of Israel necessarily, but it usually is critics of Israel, obviously. But but it's more so just people who fucking make him feel bad.
And the panel of great anti-Semitic fucking lunatic.
Apparently, they were talking about me as well in this little.
So hold on a second. I need to break this down as if you're an alien and you have no idea what's going on. This is Ethan Klein. He is a Jewish gentleman who lived in Israel for several years and met his wife, Hila Klein, who served in the Israeli Defense Forces a decade ago. That automatically, according to these people in the bottom right, makes them genocidal, monstrous freaks deserving of social ostracization. Okay. This guy, Ethan Klein, and Hasan Piker, they used to run a lefty podcast called Leftovers. Ethan Klein is a social democrat because he's so rich, he just doesn't even care about tax money anymore. So realistically, if the government taxes him a bit more to pay for social programs, he thinks that's a nice thing to do. Hasan Piker, in my opinion, is a Marxist revolutionary LARPer who wants the government of the United States to be overthrown. He sims for anti-American, anti-imperialist. He would call them powers like current China and current Russia. He makes excuses for them. He sims for them. He minimizes their atrocities. He minimizes their human rights violation so he can have a contrarian worldview. This is Noah Samsen. He's a leftist video essayist who can write decent, dry essay scripts, but he also pretty much shadows, in my opinion, every opinion of Hasan Piker, but he falls apart like wet tissue paper in a debate. So they are currently on stream together trying to bully Ethan Klein for not wanting the entire state of Israel to be evaporated and destroyed. And then in turn, they're going to throw elbows at Lonerbox because Lonerbox, despite being a lefty who probably sympathizes with the Palestinians and the especially the civilians who are getting screwed over, he's a relatively astute and intelligent geopolitical analyst. And so since he is not deriding these guys, they're going to throw elbows his way. And that's what we're here to break down. So we're just watching this for entertainment for the lulz.
In this little frat hangout.
Immediately unacceptable.
Oh, sorry. No, they're not talking about me.
Sorry, real quick. We were talking about guns earlier, which is why I keep getting distracted by gun stuff, but it's important, so I want to talk about it anyways. Also, Lonerbox has a very ASMR aura, so I'm a little bit more frenetic than Lonerbox. Death Lily says red flag laws don't stop criminals. It just removes guns from people who have already committed crimes or violates people's due process. I don't agree, Death Lily. What's funny is you're more right wing on guns than I am. So, as an example, I was one of the first 3 people as a cop to do a red flag law in the United States, and I'm going to tell you about the case. So, the case was there's a guy who, according to multiple witnesses, is addicted to methamphetamine and marijuana. And he is fleecing his mother. So he lives at home. He lives on a second property of his rich mom's estate. He constantly asks her for money, and he's spending tens of thousands of dollars per year on drugs and then does nothing productive with his life. And so the family went to their mother and they said, you don't have that much money. Like, yeah, you're a multimillionaire, but this guy is bleeding you dry and he's spending it on drugs. The drug addict's response was to say, fuck all of y'all. I'm going to kill all of you. And then he started threatening to rape and murder his nephew and his nephew's girlfriend. He was texting them, harassing them, being like, I'm going to swing by while you're at work. I'm going to kidnap you. I'm going to rape you. I'm going to murder you. Now, there's I could look up the Florida statute, or you could just trust me on it. But there's a harassment statute via telephone call that I could have charged this guy with. But he's not in person, so he's not doing aggravated assault. You could argue stalking, which could be a felony, but he also hasn't done anything physically yet, so that's kind of weak. So we can charge him with stalking, but realistically, at that point, we have stalking and we have harassment via telephone, a misdemeanor and a felony. Well, at that point, if I put out warrants for his arrest, he still has methamphetamine, he still has marijuana, he still has guns, and he's currently threatening to do murder and kidnapping, right, on the telephone. And so what I do instead is I say, okay, well, this isn't good. Oh, and then it's also not domestic violence, right? domestic violence, at least the way that the laws were written, as I understood them at the time, domestic violence applies to people that you either cohabitate with, or people that you're in a romantic relationship with, or people that you're married to, or like immediate family members who cohabitate. And so it wasn't domestic violence either, which is a trigger in order to remove his firearms, right? And so as a result of that, I had to do an ERPO, emergency risk protection order, or a red flag, on top of the telephone harassment, on top of the stalking charge. That way, Lake County Sheriff's Office, because he was out of my jurisdiction, went to his house, detained him, arrested him for the misdemeanor, arrested him for the felony, but they also removed the firearms from the home. And what would have happened if I had just arrested him for the misdemeanor and the felony is he would have gotten out within 24 to 48 hours, still on bail because his mom would have bailed him out, and he still would have had access to his firearms, and he still would have had access to his drugs. So you tell me, man, because from my perspective, when I have somebody who is bipolar, on meth, on marijuana, and he's threatening to kill his family members because of a legalistic loophole, he should not keep access to his firearms. A judge should review whether or not he should get access to firearms. Now, that where it comes to due process, and I'll try to be quick. When it comes to due process, I don't think one judge should be enough to remove your rights. I think it should be a jury of peers. And I think it should be timely, like within 30 days. And I think that emergency risk protection orders are so rare that you could actually have an expedited process where you have a jury of peers review your right to keep and bear arms within 30 days. However, I still think it's a good tool in the toolbox. So you tell me, give me feedback.
They would never, neither of these two would ever challenge me upon their own wits, right? They always need another person to filter, to make the arguments for them so that they are, because they're too fucking stupid and lazy to do it themselves. That's what they're actually doing. Okay. They're getting their little fucking hemorrhoid faced mongrel to come over here and and tell them what's what for them. Their little thought leader.
He's worse than John Aziz still, make no mistake. Loner's prediction for Israel's aid plan came true immediately. Unacceptable.
True? Yeah, it did. Wow. Yeah, it did. Almost actually to the, like down to the fine details. And it happened on day 2, like the rushing,
I need to lift some weights.
shooting. Yeah, even there's a clip in there as well. Rip. So true, but that's bad apparently. You know, that's how fucking hate boner these guys are now.
Unacceptable. Look at that.
It's funny because he's like crafted because he's crafted such a Zionist audience, those videos don't do well, I suspect, as opposed to like,
I bet the comments are a mess.
Yeah, they're like, what are you saying? Israel's not number one? What are you saying? Israel number.
The comments on every.
Why don't you read the comments, bro?
Every single video I do are a fucking mess. Yes, because I'm not partisan. Yeah, because I don't cater to the most dogmatic fucking cult-like ideology that you guys are adhering to. Yeah, that tends to get you dispute as well. Yeah, get it for everything. Everything. There are lefties who get mad when I talk about Israel. There are right-wingers who get mad when I talk about Israel. Yeah, that's typically what happens.
Come on! You hate Israel? Do you not love Israel?
Wait, so
such is the problem with centrism. You're always getting your dick kicked in from every angle.
What's the issue here then? So if I have Zionists in my audience who I'm making angry, what's the problem here? What, exactly? Like what?
You guys keep suggesting good content that would actually further the conversation of the American zeitgeist. However, you understand that the Twitch and YouTube politics is drama with a veneer of interesting and deep ideas. So while Tucker Carlson interviewing a Green Beret who saw a Gazan child be gunned down immediately after he gave him some food, that could further the conversation about the alleged atrocities against Israel, or that Israel is committing, excuse me. However, that Americans don't care about that, okay? They don't care about, I think his name was Gassim. God bless Gassim, you know, I hope he's either resting in peace or he's in Jannah. I hope he's in heaven with the creator of the universe, right? So God bless that kid. However, what I would say is most people don't care about that. It's sad to say. People care more about Destiny's sex life. They care about Lonerbox and Hasan Piker talking shit about each other. They care about Cenk Uygur having a spurg out on a panel. That's what they care about. They don't care about random children getting gunned down. Because the truth is that that's depressing. It's sad. And it's unfixable. We can't fix it. It's already done. So, and then what do you want to do? So, sorry if I'm belaboring the point. But what do you want to do about it? Right? You want to do a fundraiser for Gazans? We could do that. But they're still going to suffer. They're still going to die. And then what do you want to do to the IDF? Do you want to like buy an airplane ticket and fly? Victoria, could you grab me a Diet Coke just because one of them was actually like bad? There was no sugar or fake sugar. Thank you. What do you want to do about it? Do you want to fly to Israel and fight the IDF? You guys might meme in my chat that you're going to do that, but you're never going to do that, right? So it's kind of like suffering. It's suffering without a point. So that's why I wouldn't engage with that kind of content, even though it's probably the morally correct thing to do.
I wish I could do an accent, but I would just come off very badly.
Yeah, I mean, I come off really badly too, but it doesn't matter.
That's pretty good. I thought it was pretty good Israeli accent. Yeah, the replies to all these guys.
I live two doors down from this anti-Semite on his screen.
He knows the replies. Noah's looking at the replies to my videos. Okay. Noah, if you're watching this or if you've clicked on this video to look at the replies, I guess you could actually try and contend with any of the arguments, you fucking retard, but okay.
Bad Chinchilla, he works.
Ableist slur from Lonerbox. Lefty Lonerbox using an ableist slur. Based.
Teddy First tracksuits on the weekends.
Exposed.
He was mad at his
Tell us
own...
why the Houthis are abiding by international law. I want to hear that one. I want that Noah Samsen video. Next. Go on. Give it to us.
Chat calling him anti-Semitic. I wonder why you have cultivated such a community.
Wait, what?
That would consider...
What? Who said...
Green. Bad Chinchilla. He wears Teddy First tracksuits on the weekends.
Exposed.
He was mad at his own...
Timothy Douglas rolling out the bangers today. Well trained. Does that mean only people who receive training can own guns, though? I don't know. Let's take a look at the text of the Second Amendment. This has become a gun segment with Lonerbox running in the background, but truth be told, that's just because he's just calling the people who are criticizing him the R slur. So let's go ahead and see if the Second Amendment has a training requirement. A well-regulated militia, so a well-trained militia, being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Well, in order to be well-trained, it sounds like you need the right to keep and bear arms. At least that's what the Second Amendment seems to be saying, is that a well-trained militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the people need to keep and bear arms so they can become trained. So I don't know, Timothy Douglas. Do you think that there is a training requirement to the Second Amendment? And by the way, I'm being a smartass and I'm being condescending, number one, because my chat loves it when I do it. But number two, I want you to start thinking. I don't want you to come in here with your no offense, guys. Like, seriously, no offense. But you guys are half of you are fucking contrarian weirdos from various heterodox political philosophies who actually just like to see a Twitch and YouTube political person think as they speak. That's half of you. You don't agree with me one-to-one, but you just like seeing somebody struggle with complex ideas. That's half of you. The other half of you are DGG, which is fine. That like you know, welcome aboard. Thank you for being here, et cetera, et cetera. However, because Steven typically has not only well thought out ideas, but also liberal talking points, you're used to just spamming liberal talking points in my chat and expecting them to go unchallenged. No. There's no training component to the Second Amendment. You could have known that if you Googled the term. While you're giving me something to react to, and I appreciate you for the content, think before you say something to me. Otherwise, I'm going to put you on blast. Thank you. I love you.
Chat calling him anti-Semitic.
Who the fuck in my chat called me anti-Semitic? Maybe like...
Damn, Sacred Snow just called me out, though. As a former Midwesterner, sorry we don't need 30-plus round magazine semi-auto rifles because our home isn't a hellhole riddled with wild hogs and gators. Well, mine is. So don't take my 30-round rifles. Appreciate you.
This might have been like one person. No one who in my chat has called me anti-Semitic. There are a lot of Jews in my audience. No one's called me anti-Semitic. Oh no, someone in chat told him. So yeah, you know. Well, I will believe that, won't we? You know, only a very highly only NPR for Zoomers. That's what NPR would do, isn't it? NPR would absolutely report on things in that manner. Okay, now you guys are calling me anti-Semitic. Okay, well done, trolls. Fuck. Well done, thank you.
I wonder why you have cultivated such a community.
I'll just assume that's
that would consider
true.
any criticism towards Israel to be anti-Semitic. I wonder how that happened.
Dude, that's you guys. That's you guys. Every time I criticize Israel, which is like almost every day, you guys are calling me anti-Semitic. This is my community. This is real.
Oh, this guy said, what did he call it? He called a one-state solution anti-Semitic?
Yes.
Yeah, right?
I absolutely think a one-state solution is anti-Semitic. Yes.
Ooh, actually an idea to contend with. Let's go.
Not that I have, which is interesting because I would often say that my ideal ending to this whole conflict would be a one-state solution. Yeah, I think those borders like connecting Gaza and the West Bank, like that's kind of cringe. That's got a lot of problems. Logistical. I don't really like sectarianism. I don't like states that are forcing themselves to have like ethnic majorities. I don't really like that as a principle. Now, I think we live in a world where having Jews living as a minority in a Middle Eastern, like Arab Muslim country right now, given, you know, the recent and not so recent history, is a pretty bad idea. That doesn't mean you should go there one day.
Okay, trying to boil this into something that we can actually deal with. Hasan Piker has said multiple times that he thinks the solution... Let's bring up the map. It's geopolitics time. Because we gotta find some meat on these bones. So far, there's not very much here. Hasan Piker and Noah Samsen collectively between them have 160 IQ points, divided up however you feel like it. Lonerbox is fucking brilliant, but he's obviously dry and Scottish, and so I'm looking for something to contend with here. Israel, Google Maps. So as far as I can tell, what's been said that's actually something worth considering is that Israel currently occupies this territory, and there's a cutout of it that I'm looking for on the maps for the West Bank right here. This kind of like dotted line is the West Bank, which is Palestinian majority. And then there's Gaza right here, where the humanitarian crisis is unfolding, /war, /genocide, depending on who you are. The West Bank, Israel is slowly settling, where they just let, you know, super Zionist hardcore Jews with Tavor rifles move in. And then if locals attack the settlers, then the IDF comes in and protects the settlers and kills the people attacking it. So it's kind of like a slow rolling, settling, potential ethnic cleansing of the West Bank. And right now, Israel and the United States of America is arguing whether or not they should ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip. And so the whole point of this is that what Hasan Piker thinks is the solution is that Israel should dissolve. It should become one state known as Palestine. And that since the Palestinians have the demographic majority, they should have the demographic majority within a democratic state. Israel doesn't want that. And frankly, if it did happen, the Palestinians would probably engage in a few pogroms and a few like terrorist attacks against the Jewish population that has oppressed them for the past 100 years from their perspective. So not only is that highly politically unlikely, it would result in a bunch of dead Jews, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with this thing called World War II, but most people think dead Jews is a bad thing, right? But then we're also stuck with this fucked up situation where Israel's trying to commit an ethnic cleansing in Gaza, and they're doing a slow rolling ethnic cleansing of the West Bank, and we don't really know how to stop them. And it seems like there's a actual silent majority in the American Congress who seem permissive of this effort. That's the best that I can describe it.
Yeah, apparently I do think a one-state solution is answer. Is he referring to the Queeman debate? Oh, yeah, because he'll only be getting my opinions through watching Bad and Panada videos, and he only gets his opinions on me through clips that he's decided to grab. I think the take I had on that was that if you had a one-state solution now with Jews as a minority, you would get anti-Semitism. You get a rise in anti-Semitic violence, which is true. And my evidence for that prediction is, I don't know, maybe the last like 400 or 500 years.
Oh, Harley Smith says, well, a well-regulated state militia to oppose the federal government is clearly what is being proposed, but you'll never read it that way. You're right. I'll never read it that way. Find me any piece of paperwork that I'm supposed to translate the right of the people to keep and bear arms is supposed to be translated to the right of the people to keep and bear arms actually secretly means that the states can have a national guard. Go ahead and find me any historical contemporary documents that was the intent of the founding fathers. I'll be happy to read it.
Of Jews living as minorities in the Middle East and North Africa? Maybe that in like every area, every country, ever? Since maybe like 1490 or something? Yeah.
Sorry, we're still talking about guns because, frankly, this is a little dry. Chaotic, we're injecting the moistness of the gun debate into the dry Lonerbox segment. Chaotic Neutral says, actually a genuine question as a UK person, does a direct reading of the Second Amendment not imply you should be able to have crazy weapons like missiles, tanks, and even nukes? Is there a line? So there's people in my chat who would argue that, yeah, it technically authorizes everything, because since the point of the well-trained militia is to contend with an opposing armed force, that they should have an unlimited right to have any weapons that the military has. I don't actually believe that. And I don't think Antonin Scalia, who's like a conservative justice, he doesn't believe that either. And so finding the balance between a right to serve its purpose, which is the United States, the people of the United States of America are able to fight a tyrannical government because that conception is infused within our founding DNA, within our founding character, is the right and ability to fight a tyrannical government. Finding the balance of what kind of weapons do civilians need in order to be able to do that is arguable. And so Antonin Scalia said that this is not an unlimited right, the same way that the First Amendment is not an unlimited right. So, yeah, I don't know. It's arguable.
Since maybe the 1500s, Jews have typically had a pretty shit.
Beef Supreme says, you read it very simplistically. Well, tell me how to read it complexly, because I know how to read it complexly as well. I read it more complexly than all the critics of the Second Amendment. So tell me the sophisticated way to read the Second Amendment.
Time being minorities in the Middle East and North Africa, not to mention other parts of the world, you know. But, you know, maybe these guys can prove me wrong again. Maybe Palestine will be the first.
$5 from Shadow 2 Bravo. Why do these cockroaches use doing a genocide instead of committing a genocide? This has to be a conscious choice. No idea. Thank you for the donation, though, King. I appreciate you.
He had some choice words. I heard he said something along the lines of like, if all Jews are pro-Israel, right, then you're and they're all if all Jews are pro-genocide of Palestinians, you're anti-Semitic for being against the genocide of Palestinians. And I was like,
what a vicious straw man. Okay, I want to hear Lonerbox's response though.
What? How can every single thing they say about me be wrong? How can they? It's so the thing is, I know what they're referring to. They're referring to real things, but they've like mashed it and mangled it in their heads How can you be this fucking dense that this is the kind of content that you have to strawman me on?
True.
To contend with me? How, man, would these guys do a 2v1? Would they let me debate both of them at once? Fucking hell.
They would need both in order to cumulatively add up to the IQ of Lonerbox.
That's him correcting himself as well. Yeah, so what I said was that if all Jews were pro-genocide, then it would probably be justified to be anti-Semitic. That's what I said. Yeah, if all Jews decided that they would just want to genocide all the Arabs, then yeah, that would just be, you're probably justified to hate all the Jews then. Because why are they saying that? Is he saying that it would be anti-Semitic like in a bad way? Like if you hated Jews for wanting to genocide all the Palestinians, then that would be like bad because it's anti-Semitic? No. But now they're just saying like you should still support genocide even if you're, it's so pathetic. And again, I don't even know why. This isn't like just them being silly. Like this isn't them not knowing my positions. This is like an intentional way of coping with your opponents.
Yeah, which by the way, this is the frustration with the Fortress arcs. When it comes to Hasan, when it comes to Vosh, when it comes to Nick Fuentes, when it comes to all these characters who have these extremely hyperbolic beliefs, but they've gotten so big that they're no longer financially reliant on fighting other characters. They've all gone into their little hug boxes so they can just react to stuff and never contend with anybody arguing with them ever again. I actually really appreciate that Steven doesn't stay in his hug box and like he could just react Andy all day to 10,000 live viewers and he just, you know, coast off of that forever and retire as a millionaire and not have any strife in his life for the rest of his life. Honestly, he could just date e-girls for the rest of his life. He'd be fine. But the truth is that he still, there's some element of gladiatorial combat that he just enjoys from fighting other people. And it seems to be like part of his DNA. Even when it's not in his best interest, he still does it. And so I appreciate that about Steven, because the truth is that like Hasan Piker would get fucking annihilated if he left his hug box. I'm actually ecstatic that he is going to be debating Charlie Kirk, not only because I expect Hasan Piker to get annihilated, but I expect Charlie Kirk to get annihilated too. It's like two dumbasses fighting each other. It's mutually assured destruction. It's going to be great content. And so the reason why I hate this is because in my opinion, Lonerbox should be a bigger creator than Hasan Piker because he's actually insightful, intelligent, charismatic, funny, interesting. Whereas I feel like Hasan Piker has like 90 IQ. I feel like he has decent recall of historical facts, but that's the only thing that he has going for him that is remotely close to a talent. He has good memory recall and he's a physically attractive person. That should not be enough in order to make you the most popular creator in streaming. Or political streaming, I should say. Timothy Douglas was saying, I was just saying that the Second Amendment is an example of one of those unsolvable issues our Constitution presents. It's crucial to our country, culture, safety, but when abused can lead to mass death. Sure. But Timothy Douglas, I'm going to put to you this proposition, okay? You're saying it's unsolvable. I think there's plenty of things that we can do to reduce mass shootings. I think we can increase access to mental health services. I think we can do simple things like raise the gun age to 21 and then have security service exemptions. I know when you're 18 or 19, you're like, no, I want a gun. I want a gun. I want a gun. Well, the truth is, like, if you're a part of a gun family, you're going to have access to guns anyways. But never mind. Ignore my bad policy. But I'm pretty sure it's like, what is it? 20,000 homicides per year, 30,000 suicides from firearms. So you're talking about 50,000 people, right? And it sucks. These are all murders. I've seen murders. I've seen people get killed up close, et cetera, et cetera. But you're talking about 50,000 people, including suicide, by the way. So you could technically cut that off. Then 80% of homicides are probably drug related. So if you wanted to, you could cut that off. But I don't even need to, because it's such a statistically small problem. 50,000 divided into 300 million is 1.666666 whatever e to the negative 4. And correct me if I'm wrong, e to the negative 4 is where you do a 0.0. So I think that's 0.0001 166666666. I think that's it. So point e to the -4, right? So 0.00016666. This is your percentage chance of being killed by a firearm. And half of that statistic comes from suicide. So if you don't shoot yourself in the face, you're 0.000833% chance likely to get killed. So is that a problem that we need to freak out about? Probably not. It's like a lightning strike. Do we need to do more to secure public spaces so mass shootings aren't so prevalent? Absolutely. But my solution would be concealed carry. It wouldn't be banning assault weapons.
Jesus. But the way that they have to do it in that kind of way is just so fucking sad. The fucking intellectual frailty of these two. Yeah, this guy, somehow I managed to get a following of left, liberal, and some right-wing people, and somehow I
sounds like you're a centrist, Lonerbox. Join the club.
I've actually managed to produce videos that you have shouted out, Hasan and Noah. I've never shouted out any of the fucking trash that you guys have produced, by the way, because I always thought you two were retarded. You guys have shouted out my work, but apparently now the guy that both of these guys have held in high esteem, and I haven't changed my opinion on absolutely everything. I still have a lot of the opinions that I keep up on my essay channel as well. These guys have both shouted me out, enjoyed my content, learned from me apparently, said I know my shit, have acknowledged that I'm like probably more well-read than both of them put together. But now suddenly I'm the guy who thinks that even if every Jew supported genocide, you still should just let them do it because otherwise you'd be anti-Semitic. Really? Really, boys? Really?
Yeah, okay.
Like I'm saying, this is more like fucking Hasbara pro-Israel content than anything I could ever dream of putting out. No amount of trips to Israel will ever rival the amount of fucking favors these guys deliver to Netanyahu on a fucking plate. There's nothing better for Netanyahu to have this kind of discourse in the people who oppose you, because this is how you ensure that Democrats and everyone else, like, they have no fucking idea what to do with this information. Like, what? Okay, so listen, we're Democrats, okay? And it seems like the left are very pro-Palestine. So what are they saying? You know, what kind of policies can we offer to them? Well, okay, there's this really big, okay, we got like, make one phone call. Let's look at the let's look at the content and see if we can produce a demand list. Okay, so we got make one phone call that will end the conflict in Gaza. Okay. All right, that's probably not feasible. Okay, let's try the okay. Maybe we can realign in the Middle East. Okay, who do these guys support? Maybe we can just extend olive branches. This guy thinks the Houthis are the only ones complying with international law. Okay. Probably shouldn't do that. That's kind of like subterranean IQ levels. Okay, what next?
I'm sorry if I find this a little bit funnier than you guys, but I do think it's funny that Lonerbox just so casually dismantled them. Like, look at this dude. Noah Samsen is a successful creator. Okay? 600K subs. His video, last one was 150K, and it was about something that's probably restricted. 600K views, which is frankly like kind of amazing. That's more views than his subs. That's an indication of a healthy channel. 70K, not so much. 150K, 180K, 430. Dude, he's far exceeding his sub growth. This is a popular creator, right? Then Hasan Piker, I don't know which one is. Oh, I guess Hasanabi would be his official one, right? 1.7 million, which means that he knows how to do what he needs to do. 200, 100, 150, 320, 150, 237, 275, 336, 431, 336, 295. Now, this is not a great ratio compared to his subs. I would actually say that he's kind of stagnated compared to his subs, but this is still a healthy channel. This guy can still make easily a 6-figure, if not a 7-figure income if he's posting like this every day and he's getting between 100 and 200,000 views on average. This guy can make stupid amounts of money. And so as a result, this is also a popular creator on the left. And yet Lonerbox just basically says, well, if we actually implemented these policies, not only would they be wildly unpopular and impracticable, but they're effectively like dead on arrival. So why are these guys popular? Thank you, Lonerbox. I appreciate you for saying that so succinctly.
With all this popularity and everything, like, you get no fucking wonder. And Netanyahu loves this. It's just, you have done like the perfect job of just making this entire movement like eternally fucking confused, intellectually compromised, and produced a fucking mob of like animals waving fucking Hezbollah flags and supporting Houthis and supporting Hamas and everything else, and making excuses for a fucking shooter who goes and guns down two workers at the Israeli embassy. Noah Samsen sitting here be like, oh, just read what they were saying. What? The fucking woman who was part of an organization that encourages Israeli and Palestinian cooperation in the tech industry. That person. Read what they were saying. Netanyahu's loving this shit, man. He loves it.
Thank you, Bonerbox. I love you.
These are your enemies? Fuck yeah, let's go.
What do you mean? Like, that's such a stupid argument. What do you
I made up a dumbass argument and then I fought the stupid argument and I won against the stupid argument that I made up. Good job, Hasan. You midwit dumbass. West Coast Girl says, since Connor admitted to being a covert drama frog, I'll start bringing up he who should not be named for the rage outs. Do it. Do it. What, Queeman? I know Queeman. Shit, I like some of Queeman's content. I think he can be overly abrasive to the point that it's actually off-putting, but I like Queeman. Who else, or at least I like his content. Who else should we not be naming? Should it be Jiztickle? Dude, I'll talk to J-Stock at any time. Apparently, he was hating on Ukrainian Anna and myself for not liking socialism, and he actually had some really strawmanny points. I'll talk about that. I don't care.
think, like,
if that's anti-Semitism, the word doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Beef Supreme says, Connor's read on the 2A is rather simplistic. Well, it's 2 sentences. So please tell me what your complex understanding of the Second Amendment is, Beef Supreme. You've said that twice.
Then being Jewish is being pro-genocide.
Yeah, really wouldn't. Ogre Boy in chat, hey. I got him to come up with a framework, Bonerbox. What, the Bonerbox framework? For when the US should finally invade Israel, when they're finally admitting to ethnic cleansing. Okay. I mean, wow. Is that it? Is that what? Oh yeah. Listen, you guys don't understand. Okay. Listen, this guy doesn't even want to invade Israel. Doesn't even want to invade a nuclear power. Well done. Jesus.
That's what that means. And
which
it's like,
is
that's anti-Semitic.
Which is incredibly anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is such a
And then he says that would be justified at that point, you dumbass. Dude, I can understand these arguments almost instantaneously. So right now, 60 to 80% of people who are either Jewish diaspora or Israeli support Israel over Palestine within the current dynamic of the conflict. Now, they might not say that they support ethnic cleansing, but they'll say, like, yeah, I generally support the IDF doing what it needs to do within Gaza. We still have the hostages. They still need to be returned. Hamas needs to demilitarize, et cetera, et cetera. And if the Palestinians are suffering, that's their problem. That's what I think 60 to 80%, depending on how you ask the question, of diaspora Jews and Israelis believe that statement. Now, what I think Lonerbox said, if I understood what he said correctly, is that, well, let's say that 100% of Jews and Israelis believe that genocide was necessary to secure the state of Israel. Well, if you're anti-Israel at that point, you would technically be anti-Semitic, but being anti-Semitic would be logically justified. I understood that within like 20 seconds of him stating it. Please, if I get that wrong, somebody correct me in chat. But these people, because they're such Dunning-Kruger 80 IQ fucking dumbasses, they can only make up a straw man and knock it down instead of contending with actually what's being said. Sacred Snow says, I'm not pro-gun ban. That stuff is R-slurred. Outside of full auto military vehicles, explosives, etc. I'm just making a joke because you were dragging out about the birds deer season shotguns. Gotcha. My apologies for autistically taking you seriously.
Stupid argument that you could only put together if you just think like Jews are magical, mystical, mythical people or something. Like, what the fuck do you mean?
They're allowed to do that. Right?
Like, that's so insane.
They're allowed to do that. So we're listening to two people who have both shouted out my content in the past. Hasan shouted out my content on Palestine, actually. And now, because they are so fucking insecure and terrified of actually putting any of these opinions to the test and talking to me about it, have decided to tell their audiences that my opinion is that Jews should be allowed to.
Okay, you guys aren't doing anything. Okay, AF Racing and Beef Supreme. You're like, your argumentation is wildly simplistic. Connor decided what he wanted the 2A to mean and forms arguments to support that, just like everyone who starts with a conclusion and works backwards. It's human. He's not 100% right about everything. Prove me wrong. Go ahead. Seriously. What is it? Time on deck. I love how this is happening. 11:11. It is 11:11 a.m. I am 30 minutes behind on chat because this chat is at 10:50. Okay? I will catch up with you. AF Racing, I expect an explanation about how I'm incorrect. Both Beef Supreme and AF Racing, I am calling you out. If you do not write down a paragraph summary of what I got incorrect, then you can cope and seethe and die mad about it. Okay? I'm calling you out individually. Your fellow chatters should call you the fuck out right now. AF Racing, Beef Supreme, start typing how I'm wrong.
Commit genocide because they're special. Okay.
I mean, that's the
Adorable.
logic of Israel, though. It's like this happened to us, so so anything we do is justified because anything we do is in defense of allowing it to happen again.
That is not what Israelis think, you fucking dense, dead behind the eyes, beady-eyed little cunt. No, that is
Lonerbox.
not what Israelis think. Do you know, like, half of the fucking critiques that you guys come up with about Israel, and the reason that you know all these bad things that Israel...
Sorry, chat's more entertaining than the content. No offense, Lonerbox, I love you. AF Racing says he does the same thing with his deism stance. He's afraid of the void, but doesn't want to look like he believes in fairy tales, so he bit hard on JBP. No, AF Racing, you tool bag. And by the way, this is condescending and dismissive. I understand I'm condescending and dismissive all the time, so this is just me getting my just desserts and my medicine. However, there's something that created the universe. The universe is imbued with order that came from something. People 3,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, did mushrooms and starved themselves in meditative shamanic rituals that allowed them to evaluate moral insights about what it means to be alive and what it means to be sapient and what it means to be human. And they wrote down those insights into mythological histories that have moral prescriptions. And then we carried those moral prescriptions for 3,000 years. And because the moral prescriptions are so complex and weird, some of the moral prescriptions are really, really, really good. Like you shouldn't bang your neighbor's wife because you're going to get murdered, right? And some of them were really bad, like you should just beat the shit out of gay people, right? And so the truth is that we as modern humans need to acknowledge that our predecessors were observing some kind of real phenomena, and we should do analyses of their morals. I accept the void. I'm scared of the void. I don't like the void. I like being alive. I wish I could live forever. I think this is the coolest thing ever. I think it's the coolest thing in the world that I get to wake up, drink caffeine, watch morons on the internet, and talk about really complex ideas with 160 people who have fantastic taste in content. This is amazing. I never want this to end, but I accept the fact that the void is most probable. I will probably be in unconscious oblivion for billions of years. And even if I reincarnate as myself after the universe cycles, or even if I incarnate as some other kind of living creature, the sense of ego that I currently have will probably dissolve. My name, Connor, my last name, will probably die and will not be reiterated in the universe in a way that I remember this life. And that is sad to me. It's sad to me. But that doesn't mean that I don't like evaluate morality or mythology or history or existence or the struggles of sapient beings. Why the fuck would I ever give up on that? It's better than you, AF Racing. I don't know your personal story, but it's better than you anti-theist twats who think that there's no value to history, that there's no value to moral insights of Iron Age peoples, that there's no value to mythology. I think you guys are fucking cringe. Like, I think anti-theism is fucking poison for the soul. So, no. And, you know, you were condescending, so I'm just going to say it. Fuck you.
Are doing is because of fucking Israelis, okay? The reason you know about the history is because of Israelis. You're not going to get like Assad or fucking Saddam Hussein or any of that, like, welcoming people in to look at their documents or having like allowing NGOs to sit in their country and criticize them. You know, there was actually one NGO leader who attacked Hezbollah. Hezbollah murdered him. Yeah, okay? They murdered their critics in the past for going too hard on them.
True.
In Israel, you get actually quite a lot of your information to slam Israel from that country. You get it from B'Tselem, you get it from Haaretz, you get it from whistleblowers, because they host criticism within their own country. We get to shit on their history really hard because they allowed their history to be open to the public. They opened archives so people could go in and see what commanders were saying to each other in the 48 war. The reason that we know that Operation Hiram actually had like some cases where like expulsions and ethnic cleansings were ordered on villages that weren't even fighting because Israel let us see that information. But okay, sure. Wait till any of the fucking international law-abiding fucking animals that you guys support and the Houthis and Hezbollah, wait till they ever do that for you.
Weaponizing it, right?
Contemplative thumbnail. Unacceptable. Oh my God, Israeli policy didn't work at giving.
Wait, how is he putting these two together, this guy? How is he putting it together that I predict the aid plan going wrong, but then there's another thumbnail of me saying that there's shocking details, but it shouldn't be shocking to... Obviously, I'm not saying shocking as in like, I'm surprised this happened. It's a fucking thumbnail. Like, okay. But, you know, they'll eat it all up. Eat it all up.
Aid to Palestinians in Gaza? No one could have ever seen that coming. It's almost...
You literally just went over a thumbnail of me predicting what would have happened.
God, I hate bad empanada as well.
To the letter. Man, these guys.
Corey Peltzman says, Connor, Israel takes are so smooth brain. Why? Because I'm not simping for it? Because I don't simp for people getting starved? Yeah. Yeah. I still support Israel's right to exist, but I don't support mass starvation. Yeah, whoops.
Yes.
Like, it's not intended to help them, but it's like, oh man, Israel really effed up. They took a big L here with this bad policy.
Beef Supreme says, thank God there is more than one person in this chat that actually understands the 2A and doesn't read it to allow maximum gun ownership. I don't even think that's my position. I think you're listening to the emotions of what I'm saying and not what I'm literally saying. I agree with Justice Antonin Scalia that you can regulate what kind of weapons human beings have. You can't have a pocket nuke, right? Because the public interest overrides your ability to have a pocket nuke. You can't use a pocket nuke for self-defense. You can't use a pocket nuke for hunting. You can't use a pocket nuke to take down a tyrannical government in a way that doesn't kill hundreds of thousands of people. So there's no reason for a civilian to have unlimited, unfettered access to a pocket nuke, right? So we can start there and then we can move our way in. So don't straw man me. If I'm not straw manning you, give me your best argument, right? Give me your best argument.
I get the issue though, is because they obviously think that like the vocabulary that they would use to describe the GHF plan is how they've just described the aid situation for the entire thing.
Well, chart says civilians should have access to anything that cops have. Well, by the way, that's pump action and semi-auto shotguns. That's semi-auto rifles. And that's semi-auto pistols. I am perfectly okay with that. And also it's like flare launchers and flashbangs. I'm perfectly comfortable with law enforcement and civilians having the same level of weapon access. 100%.
That's the thing, right? Because these guys have just been calling it famine ever since October 8th.
If Connor believes there's a limit on types of guns, there is a limit on who. Like I said, his reading is simplistic. Beef Supreme, you don't even know my fucking position. I don't think schizophrenics should have guns. I don't think that people with Down syndrome should have guns. I don't think that children should have guns. You're strawmanning something that I never said. So again, like, you're going off of the emotion, not what's literally being said. So feel free to tell me where I'm wrong. I literally made an argument 10 minutes ago that emergency risk protection orders were a natural part of our societal framework that should probably be bolstered and allowed for additional due process so we can integrate it better into government. You understand how much of the Second Amendment community hates that perspective? So don't say my reading of it is simplistic when you're saying things that I don't necessarily disagree with. You're going off of vibes and emotions, not what's actually being said. I expect by 11:15 to see a paragraph long response.
Yeah. These guys have been calling it famine since October 8th. So obviously, if I talk about the GHF plan and how it's quite exceptionally bad and why it deserves extra scrutiny, these guys, they don't understand that, because it's like, that's why I had people saying like, oh, you've supported this the entire 2 years. Like what? The GHF plan, what, that thing that's famously lasted for 2 years. That they don't care. They don't care about the conflict. They don't care about any of the...
Beef Supreme says, I've tried before to help you read it more complexly. You haven't said shit yet.
Policies or any of the arguments. That's why they have to just do these stupid fucking straw mans.
Genuinely trying to, like in good faith, trying to implement a policy to help people in Gaza, right?
Faith, Mr. Empanada.
That's the sort of thing that he's going for. And he's like, oh man, I'm just critiquing them. This is a sort
Everyone has something to say about ContraPoints.
of guy who would like critique the amount of rations in the death camps, rather than just denounce the Nazis for having death camps.
Hey,
that's who he is. These people are going to be trying to dial back and whitewash what they have been saying this entire time. Think about it.
Lonerbox.
I haven't whitewashed or dialed back fucking anything, buddy, but okay.
This is my favorite Marxist. You should listen to him sometimes, brother.
That's awesome.
I bought my wife a Teddy Fresh hoodie yesterday. Long story short, we're getting a divorce, and I'm ashamed to say I was married to an anti-Semite for 10 years.
True, it's anti-Semitic to not.
Don't let them off the hook.
Teddy Fresh
as they
like
realize that what they're doing doesn't sell anymore.
He did say that. He did that with Vanilla Mace. And this is before I even met Vanilla Mace. Vanilla Mace literally was like, Teddy Fresh tried to send me like a PR poll, and and she was like, yeah, that was like, she's an anti. If you don't wear my adult baby clothes, you are a.
This is like the political equivalent of it. It's like the three dumbest guys in the school are just like
in a smoke circle, jerking each other off, metaphorically. True. Chaotic Neutral became a member. Thank you, King. Appreciate you.
In the fucking boys' toilet, doing the thing where you wet a bit of kitchen towel and throw it in the ceiling so it sticks and looks like a bat cave. Just talking shit about the other people they don't like. Like, it's what the fuck is this?
Okay. Anonymous Chatter has the closest thing to an argument that I've seen so far. I love how this is primarily a gun segment with Lonerbox in the background. StreamYard. Anonymous says, the Heller decision of 08, the SCOTUS treated the 2A as restriction on the federal government to regulate states. The Heller ruling is the first time that the 2A was an individual right. You guys are just, you're not giving me shit. Give me a second. I knocked out my own monitors. Okay. So this is my understanding of it. Is that the way that all amendments were translated was that these were limitations on the federal government. And you could go substantively further on states. So prior to the Civil War, you could actually violate the amendments of the constitutions of the United States. It was exclusively a limitation on the federal government. So the federal government states that a well-regulated militia, meaning that a well-trained body of the citizenry, being necessary to the security of a free state, this is the purpose, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay? So the federal government cannot prohibit people to keep and bear arms. Since then, we've had quite a bit of prohibitions. Now, I understand what you're saying, though, where Heller became an assertion that people have the right of the people to keep and bear arms. However, there's something called the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution. The Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of the states to the contrary notwithstanding. So this was, when was that written? The Supremacy Clause, I actually don't know where it is. The Supremacy Clause was a response to the problems in the Articles of Confederation, which governed the United States from 1781 to 1789. The Supremacy Clause of the U.S. Constitution was written in 1787 during the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. It was included as a part of the final draft of the Constitution, which was then ratified in 1788. So I don't understand how you have the Supremacy Clause stating that the states cannot violate the Constitution of the United States and come away with the fact that the people don't have a right to keep and bear arms. These words are contradictory. So you are going to have to come up with definitions that make sense. Otherwise, I just don't believe you, and I think that you're just using lib fucking argumentation talking points that are contradictory.
Actual, like, fucking Beavis and Butthead politics. Like, Jesus.
He's Semite, dude.
Oh my God, dude.
He straight up said being to anti-fresh was akin to the Holocaust. No.
Stop.
Y'all tripping.
No, he must
He
have
did
said
say
that.
that. I need a link to the clip.
Hey, I need a
That's
link to the
great.
clip.
Yeah, Vanilla
We're never going to look for the clip, are we? Never.
Hamas. Vanilla Hamas.
Oh shit. You got a funny chat, man. Sometimes when they're not yelling at you or trolling you.
Yeah. She wasn't even talking about like Zionism, by the way. She just said the clothes are ugly. That's it.
That's anti-Semitic, man.
Which is, of course, incredibly anti-Semitic. I can't believe you
being
said
Jewish is liking shitty, weird clothes. That's what being Jewish is.
He's gonna clip you.
Anti-Semitic.
He's gonna clip you. He's gonna clip you and be like, "Oh, that's we got him. He's being anti-Semitic. We got him."
Yes. Brother, I was quoting you. You made the sandwich.
Anyway,
they will try to distance themselves from it. Oh, he released another one too. Whistleblower testimony on Gaza aid plan reveals shocking details. This isn't shocking for anyone but you, Lonerbox.
You literally just went over a thumbnail.
Oh my God, you guys are so fucking soy, dude. This is why I'm not a liberal. Okay, this is exactly why I'm not a liberal. I'm a liberal in the sense that I think that maximal human freedom is good. Okay, that's the way in which I'm a liberal. But you guys are so fucking soy, dude. You're so fucking soy. Harley Smith, the real thing that happened is I went to own guns. I can point to something that kind of sorted can be twisted to give me that right, but I don't want the right to extend to things you don't like. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm pointing to the supreme law of the United States of fucking America, dude. This is more of a gun segment than it is a fucking Lonerbox segment, because I think I've responded to two things because Noah Samsen and Hasan are such glup shitto means they're not famous. They should be glup shittos because they're so fucking stupid. But you're saying that the supreme law of the land stating a well-regulated militia with historical context says a well-trained militia. And militia definitionally, what do they have? They have the, let's go ahead and Google it. Federal Code, militia. Composition and classes. The militia of the United States consists of all able-bodied males at least 17 years of age and except as provided in Section 313 of Title 32, under 45 years of age who are or who have been a declaration of intention to become citizens of the United States, and females of the United States who are members of the National Guard. The classes of the militia are the organized militia, which consists of the National Guard and Naval Militia, and the unorganized militia, which consists of the members of the militia who are not members of the National Guard or Naval Militia. Here's the fucking code. This is the supreme law of the land. This is the federal fucking statute. Okay? And then here is, it doesn't get bigger than the amendments to the Constitution of the United States. So I'm not twisting shit. You're ignoring evidence right in front of your face. So on this horseshoe theory, I'm gonna take time in a minute in order to redraw this. But if you're right here, let's say we agree that freedom of speech, freedom of conscience is good. Let's say that we agree that due process is good. Let's say that we agree that the Republic of the United States is good and representative democracy is the best form of governance, is the worst form of governance except for all the other ones. Let's say that we don't care about gay people or black people existing. Let's say that we don't care about Hispanics or people existing or gay people existing or trans people existing. Let's say that you're right here. But let's say that I'm right here and I love guns and militarism. And you want to fucking soy out and try to drag me across this line so I can eliminate my own right to firearms. You can fuck off all the way up this horseshoe. I'm going to treat you like you're far left because you're telling me to read the federal code of what it means to be a part of the militia. You're asking me to read the text of the Second Amendment, and you're asking me to pretend that it doesn't say the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. As a preparatory clause, meaning that this prepares the rest of the sentence, this is stating the purpose of the Second Amendment. This is stating the limitations of the federal government. And as a supreme law of the land, state constitutions can't violate this either. So don't blow smoke up my ass. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Don't fucking soy out in my chat. If you want fucking Destiny to jerk you off about how actually guns are just cool and there's no real reason to own a gun, you're in the wrong fucking chat, right? If you want to fight me for the entertainment of the audience, that's totally fine. I love that. But don't fucking try to force feed me fucking tofu and expect me to gobble it down with fucking happiness.
Of me predicting what would happen. What do you think I mean by shocking? You
Anonymous chatter says, the original meant show me. Stop chatting shit. Tell me to Google. Tell me what to Google. Show me where it says that it's for the states to create a militia to fight the federal government. Show me where that's said. Because the way that I read the Second Amendment, it's the right of the people. It's not the right of the states. If they wanted it to be the right of the states, it would be the right of the states. If they wanted it to be the right of the militia to keep and bear arms, that doesn't make fucking sense. So stop telling me your random interpretation of the fucking Second Amendment. Show me where there's contextual and historical documentation that correlates with your definition. Tell me what to Google because you can't link in YouTube chat. You guys are so fucking full of shit. You're full of shit. You're so fucking soy. Shut the fuck up. You're wrong.
Fucking loser. Like, what the fuck?
You're not even shocked by this anyway. You know that you're trying to defend a genocide.
Harley Smith, show me where, show me where, or admit you're wrong, or you're catching a fucking suspension. I'm not putting up with this level of fucking soy. And it's fine if you want guns, and I guess it's fine that people use the 2A to get there, but it's really a stretch. Harley Smith, it's 11:33 a.m. If I get to chat and I don't see an 11:33 post where you say I'm wrong and I'm soying out, or here is an example of text that supports my position, you're getting a temp ban. You're getting suspended. I'm not having this fucking soy in my chat where you guys are like, actually, it just means the government can have guns. It doesn't convey any kind of individual right to firearms, even though it plainly says the right of the people to keep and bear arms. I don't have any historical contemporaneous documentation that shows that my interpretation is correct. I'm just making this shit up because I've heard it. If you're just making shit up because you've heard it, you're fucking wrong. You're in the wrong chat. So you better have some fucking historical contemporaneous fucking thing for me to Google when I get to you. Otherwise, you're catching a fucking temp suspension. Not putting up with that shit. I'll tell you what. Soy fucks.
You're consciously doing so. You know what's happening. You're just trying to defend it. Whoa, shocking details. Everyone knew this was happening from the very beginning. Everyone knows.
Okay, conservatism makes a good point, which is if you're moving out at 18, you should have the right to defend yourself. I actually agree with that.
what they're doing in Gaza and why they're doing it. You're just trying to...
Beef Supreme, you're right with Harley Smith. If you don't tell me historical documentation, and if you don't show me historical documentation by 11:30, you're catching a suspension too. I don't care if I love you. I don't care if you super chatted in the past. I'm not putting up with this soy lib bullshit where you guys don't have anything. You just keep asserting a position without evidence. I will be happy to read your evidence on stream. I will not have fucking soy liberal fucking people in my chat soying about how the individual right to firearms never fucking existed prior to Heller, but then they have no contemporaneous historical evidence showing that it was supposed to be a limited right exclusive to the National Guard of states. What a weird way to interpret. Like let's go ahead and just look at a cowboy. Yep. 1 o'clock. Yep. Let's go ahead and just look at a cowboy. Okay. Cowboy. Not the sports team. Is this guy a part of the National Guard? Is this guy a part of the National Guard? Is this guy a part of the National Guard? Is this guy a part of the National Guard? Is this guy a part of the National Guard? Is this guy a part of the National Guard? Is this guy a part of the National Guard? Is this guy a part of the National Guard? Is this guy a part of the National Guard? No, he's an individual asserting his Second Amendment rights. Let's go ahead and look at a coach shotgun. Well, hold on. Let's do settler art. America. Every single one of these motherfuckers, they got that thing on them. They got fucking muskets and shit. Are they all a part of the National Guard? Is this guy a part of the National Guard? Are these people a part of the National Guard? Are these people a part of the National Guard? Are these people a part of the National Guard? Are these people a part of the National Guard? Are these people a part of the National Guard? Are these people a part of the National Guard? I'm not even Googling like fucking muskets and shit, but half of these fucking pictures just have people with muskets in them. And they're regular citizens. So what the fuck are you talking about? This is literally just, I Googled the word settler art America, and look at what's popping up. A homestead that he built himself and a gun. You guys are fucking horrible. You're horrible at argumentation. So start arguing or catch a temp ban.
Pretend otherwise because you're an idiot. Well, yeah, you are an idiot. You're stupid. But
is he just riffing off of thumbnails? Is this what the content is now and people watch this? Okay, whatever works.
You're not defending genocide because you're an idiot. You're defending genocide incompetently because you're a shit, terrible person paid by Israel to do so.
Then watch the original content, Bad Empanada, you effing slur. Pick a slur. Pick whatever slur you think applies to Bad Empanada. Pick a slur.
Little rats are going to be scurrying out.
I think the saddest part for many of these people is, I don't know about Lonerbox, but like a lot of them are not even paid by Israel to do this. Yeah. They're literally doing this because
they're not.
Harley Smith, you better present a fucking argument or you're catching a perma. And he has years of people interpreting it his way. So yeah, you're in a modern context. He has the Southern Supreme Court backing. It's not a winnable argument from his side. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro. Show me evidence. Put up or shut up. I'm not fucking taking this shit. Like literally, when I get to 11:30, I'm gonna end this segment, and y'all better like we probably still got 10 minutes, 20 minutes left in this. I am scrolling all the way through chat, and I am finding all of the arguments that it's the exclusive right of states to limit firearms ownership to the National Guard. I am finding those you are finding those historical sources, or you're getting banned. I'm not putting up with your fucking lib soy bullshit.
They just back.
A lot of them aren't even paid. Why are you pretending like you have any fucking idea who is or isn't getting paid by the Israeli government? You fucking idiot. God. Why would you even pretend to know that?
The wrong horse. Some of this does go back to Destiny because these guys are like his dick riders, right? His orbiters. They call themselves that. And basically after October 7th.
Deep swallow. Look at this. My backwards button is fucked up, but look at this.
Some of this does go back to Destiny because these guys are like his dick riders, right? His orbiters. They call themselves that. And basically after October 7, this
chewing on his lip and staring into the distance as he realizes he's a fucking Hasan orbiter. Nice.
Moron who is a horrible deadbeat dad and a sex pest decided, oh, Hasan is pro-Palestine. I'm pro-genocide. And he just...
Nobody said that shit, you fucking dumbass.
Came out of the gate swinging with that statement and then had to basically engage in the...
Is anyone going to mention how that statement, there was a, he's got the timeline wrong. He said that before October 7th. Is anyone going to mention how I pushed back against that and actually wrangled?
Oh, he shouldn't. He who shall not be named is Hunter Biden. Did you flat out ban his name one day? No, I don't ban any topics. Oh, I did say we have to stop talking about it though. I'm never gonna like ban keywords. But yeah, like if there's a topic that like you're distracting from the content, kind of like how you guys are distracting me with Second Amendment content, but I enjoy it because I love guns and I love talking about guns. But yeah, I think there was one day where chat was triggering me so fucking hard that I literally could not do the segment because they just kept saying wrong shit. And so I had to like set a time limit for when we could talk about Hunter, because if you guys kept doing it, it would have been impossible. We would have never gotten any content done. That was a funny day.
Hold Stephen into being more amenable to a two-state solution? I don't know. Probably not, you know, because two-state solution is probably the same. It's just like genocide light to these guys, right?
Worst.
Beef Supreme says, no, I'm past the 2A talk for today. Like I said before, I tried a while ago. No. Beef Supreme, wrong answer. It's 11:08. I'm telling you right now, if by 11:40 you don't have a historical argument, you're getting a temp suspension. I don't even care if you're a good member of the community. I love you. I'm not putting up with that shit. You can be wrong. You can present evidence. We can disagree. I don't care about disagreeing. If you present evidence and then I see it one way and then you see it one way, I don't care if we disagree. You can see it the way that you want to see it. That's not what I'm mad about. What I'm mad about is the constant assertion of some historical context that, to me, you have not presented evidence for. And so you can either present evidence and we can disagree, or you can get suspended. Dude, I'm not doing that. To make it clear, I want you to hear me when I'm saying this. I don't care if we disagree. I can have an opinion. I can be wrong in my opinion. That's fine. You can have an opinion. I can think you're wrong in opinion. That's not my problem. My problem is the constant assertion of a confident historical interpretation without evidence. Present evidence.
Ad hoc rationalizations I have ever fucking seen. And he had the audacity to do this in
You're not even watching the original content because you're too much of a pussy to actually deal with the original content, Hasan Piker.
real time, okay? Basically documenting every step he took, and all of his dumbass orbiters that aren't even getting paid by the state of Israel.
Oh, we're not getting paid, are we?
That guy, Destiny, that guy's girlfriend, I think. Something like that.
That's fucked up.
I don't know.
There's some weird lore with them.
I don't know.
Sex shaming. I'm all about sex shaming. I love that shit. I love sex shaming, but aren't y'all supposed to be liberals and progressives with positive sexual attitudes?
This is your leftist your leftist men, by the way, your male feminists.
True. Grassroots gifted 5 Valor Media Network memberships. What a king. Love you, Grassroots. Thanks for being here.
Wasn't that really funny, that whole story about someone having her privacy?
It's not happening. I went through this with... No. Beef Supreme, you don't get it. Either by 11:40, you share a historical thing or you catch a suspension. That's it. I'm not doing that. I'm not... Like, I don't even know how long the suspensions are. Put user in a timeout. Timeouts could be like 15 minutes. But I'm not incentivizing that behavior. Okay, I will cope and seethe. Okay, cool. Then stop talking about it. Yeah, Beef Supreme, I'm giving you an out. I'll give you an out. You can either cope and seethe about it and drop the topic. I'm okay with that. But the other two, who was it? It was Beef Supreme and it was fucking somebody soy. Some fucking liberal soy person in my chat. If nobody present Timothy Douglas. No, it's not Timothy Douglas. Who was it? Harley Smith. If Harley Smith doesn't have an argument by the time that I catch up with chat, you're catching a temp. Sorry, I'm not putting up with that shit.
Violated in one of the worst possible fucking ways and suffering like quite severe fucking mental, emotional trauma because of it. Isn't that really funny to just bring that up and use it to attack someone because I'm too much of a fucking dipshit to actually challenge any of the arguments that he makes? Yeah, well. Good for you, Noah. Good for you.
Corey Peltzman said something accidentally funny. Jewish people have intergenerational trauma, and the October 7th supporters are the new Nazis. Dude, imagine if like genocide, like ethnic cleansing. Imagine if Israel like started ethnically cleansing Gaza, where they literally just like they killed the Egyptian border guards, and then they just started marching through Gaza, pushing all the Gazan civilians into the Sinai, into Egypt. And then the Israeli government came out and they're like, ooh, woo, I'm just a small bean. I'm just a cutesy boy. It's my birthday. And I have intergenerational trauma. Fuck.
Do what you're good at.
I don't know like the deep details of the lore and their background. I don't
know about all that. Yes.
You don't know something created the universe. So you've already proven my point that you started with the conclusion and worked backwards. Yeah, the evidence of the universe being created is you and I are having this fucking conversation, AF Racing. You can say it's unconscious. It's an accident of existence. Okay. The universe still was created. You can say that created implies a creator, but you can at least admit that the universe exists, right? Like that you hear these words coming out of my mouth. You can admit that you exist.
You do. You browse the shit all the fucking time. You follow and retweet the craziest fucking posters on Twitter. Like the fact that he pretends to not care or know about this is so stupid.
I don't care to know. It's just like, but it's just like they're doing it for free because they are part of the orbit.
Yeah,
like
but it's
and then they
crazy.
join in on
like,
the propaganda.
It's crazy. At least like you could have gotten some benefits out of this, man. You just are doing this for free.
Yeah, if I wanted money, because I know how Social Blade works, I know how the international, like the global zeitgeist goes.
Do it. Tell us how to grift, Lonerbox. Tell us.
Bob, if I wanted money, I would be posting all of the same retarded shit that you do. That's what I'd be doing. Except I'd probably be better at it because I actually know how to read. Like, yeah, I'd probably be able to support the Houthis in a way that doesn't leave me exposing myself saying, yeah, they're actually really good at international law. Like, yeah, I'd probably be a better fucking pro-Palestine propagandist than either of these two put together. Like, what the fuck? Wouldn't find myself running into fucking rakes all the time about perfect phone calls and fucking Houthi glazing. Yeah.
Ooh, Bo Dickerson says tradition is a set of solutions for which we have forgotten the problems. Throw away the solution and you get the problems back. Based.
Might have got a free trip, but like
free trip to Israel.
Yeah. Thank you. Super
free trip to where else did we go? Well, yeah, went to the West Bank. You should add that one in. A free trip to the West Bank.
Great. Awesome. They got to hang out with Elon Levy. That's yeah. I got the best thing ever.
I got a free trip to Israel, and what is it? Here's a link to the vanilla thing. Oh,
you know who hit me up today on Instagram? Teddy Fresh. They said, "Hey, we'd love to send you some stuff." How about?
Remember the ground zero of that. The ground zero of that Israel and Palestine trip. Yeah, these guys just did UT Postais Juris, by the way, by calling it all Israel. Fucking dipshits. The ground zero of that the ground zero of that trip to Israel was because we were invited by an Arab, by a Palestinian, because Sev suggested it on a stream, and then when he was in a call with me and Destiny, and then Destiny was just like, yeah, maybe we'll actually do that. That's where it started. That was the genesis. My face when the romantic partner of someone who is criticizing me becomes a victim of revenge porn. Okay.
All right, I'm going to defend Lonerbox's honor harder than he's defending his own honor. My understanding, these are all allegations, mythos. Pixie can correct me, Lonerbox can correct me, Steven can correct me. This is the information that I'm getting as an outside person. So Pixie was a virginal personality who did not have a lot of sexual experience and was interested in experimenting with stuff. She was in Miami, didn't have a lot of friends, didn't have a lot of, people to hang out with, et cetera, et cetera. Steven, at the time, was in his red pill arc, so a lot of people viewed him as a sex guru. I think that's cringe, but I think that's cringe because I'm 40 years old and I have my own experiences from the time that I was 15 to 25, and I was cringe from 15 to 25. So I can't really hate on a 19-year-old doing something cringe. That's actually pretty normal. So Pixie says, hey, Steven, let's hook up. And, maybe we'll videotape some stuff. Maybe we'll share it around. Maybe we'll be a little promiscuous, but I want to keep it on the down low because I'm a pretty inexperienced person. And Steven says yes. Now, allegedly, Steven shared those videos around, but I don't even think that's even necessary information for this part of the drama. Pixie and Lonerbox, again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, they flirt a little bit during PV, and I think that they exchange romantic communications as well. I think they say that they're not dating, but it's very clear that they're friends, good friends, bordering on romantic. And I will say, while we were hanging out at PV, the vibes, there were good vibes, right, between Lonerbox and Pixie. I think she was crushing on him a little bit. I think he was amenable to the crushing. And so they could be boyfriend, girlfriend. They could be open. I don't give a shit. But having this this is supposed to be like the further left guy with a pedo stash who's like a former lacrosse player douchebag who adopted all of the most extreme left-wing politics in order to be cool on the internet. For him to say, oh, before Lonerbox had kind of a romantic relationship with Pixie, she had a romantic relationship with Steven. What does that do? I love slut shaming. I love slut shaming. I love shaming you guys for your promiscuous degenerate behavior. But why is a leftist slut shaming? Don't you guys love all that shit? Don't you love all the fucking degenerates and the polycules and the open relationships and all that bullshit? So Noah Samsen, I accuse thee of being a hypocritical piece of shit. So go fuck yourself, you terrorist apologizing fucking dumbass. And with that, we're going to end that segment, and I'm going to sprint through chat so I can beat the shit out of you rhetorically. Where are any of these points in the 2A? I can literally recite it from memory. Okay? A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It's within the clause, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's where I'm inferencing my context. Just your opinion. Harley Smith, you're on the verge. You better have something for me. I'm gonna catch up with you, bitch.